Okay, so we're going to work on our first licks in the key of A major. We're going to start by using the A Ionian scale, which is just the plain major scale. Excuse me. Okay, so all the exercises that I'm doing will be in the tab, so you can kind of work through it. I'm going to play them slow, and then I'll speed them up just a little bit and give you some ideas on how to create different licks inside this scale. Alright, so all these scales are going to be written for 3 fingers per string, or 3 notes per string. It's just easier to come up with fast sounding licks, and it's easier to get a little bit more creative. So the notes of the A major scale, and again these will all be written down for you. It's A, B, C sharp, D, E, F sharp, G sharp, and A. Again, that's A, B, C sharp, D, E, F sharp, G sharp, and A. Okay, so in talking about the modes, when I say the Ionian mode, all a mode is just simply playing the major scale starting on different notes of the major scale. So in the Ionian mode, since we're in the key of A, you're just going to play the A major scale, and then you're going to start on the A note. So I'm just going to demonstrate it right fast, and then we can talk about it. So now, I'm well aware that if you look up in a theory book the A Ionian scale, it's not going to look like that fingering. That's fine. Again, I'm writing these so that all of them are 3 notes per string. But the notes are as follows. I'm going to play through that again, and then I'm going to call the notes out as I'm playing them. Alright. On the top string, the low E string, we're going to play A, B, C sharp. On the A string, we're going to play D, E, and F sharp. On the D string, we're going to play G sharp, A, and B. And then on the G string, we're going to play C sharp, D, and E. On the B string, we're going to play F sharp, G sharp, and A. And on the B string, the E string, we're going to play B, C sharp. And you can even add in that extra D if you want to. So again, it's A, B, C sharp, D, E, F sharp, G sharp, A, B, C sharp, D, and E, F sharp, G sharp, and A, B, C sharp, and D. Alright, so it's a great idea to get really familiar with the fingerings. There's basically 3 fingerings for all the major scales, and you really want to get these down because when you start thinking in terms of fingering, it's going to make it way easier and way quicker to learn the scales. Alright, so you got 3 finger options, and I'll write these down for you. Alright, so the first fingering option is where you're going to start on a fret, skip 2 frets, and play that note, and then skip 2 frets and play another note. So it looks like, so I get this. So I'm on the A note here, I'm skipping the A sharp and playing the B. I'm skipping the C and playing the C sharp. Okay? So that's fingering number 1. Potential finger number 2 would be in the case to where I play, start on a note, go up 1 fret, and then 2 frets. So the first one was 2 frets and 2 frets. Excuse me. The second one is 1 fret, then 2 frets. Then of course the last option would be 2 frets, then 1 fret. So again, I'm going to run through these. You got 2 frets and 2 frets. Option number 1, that was option number 1. Option number 2 is going to be 1 fret, then 2 frets. And then option number 3 is you're going to go 2 frets and then 1 fret. And all these scales will be some combination of those 3 fingerings just going across the strings. In the case of the Ionian scale that we just played, the Ionian mode, excuse me, we're going to, on the top 2 strings, so the E string and the A string, we're going to play the fingering that looks like it's going to go 2 and then 2. So like this. We're going to play that fingering. So start on the A note, go up 2 frets and then 2 frets. Okay, so and then on the D string we're going to do the same thing. We're going to start on the D note and go up 2 frets and 2 frets. So both those together. Again. Alright, so on the next string we're going to have the 1 note and 2 note option. So it looks like this. We start on G sharp here on the 6th fret. Then we're going to go 1 note, 1 fret, 2 frets. 1 fret, 2 fret. So, and then for the G string, we're going to keep the same frets, the same finger, and we're just going to drop down a string. So on the G string, we got 1 fret and 2 fret, starting on C sharp. So C sharp, 1 fret, 2 frets. So these 2 strings look like this: 1 fret, 2 fret, 1 fret, 2 fret. Okay. Now the bottom 2 strings are going to be the 3rd option. It's going to be starting on F sharp, which is the 7th fret. We're going to go 2 frets then 1 fret. So 2 fret, 1 fret. Start here, 2 fret, 1 fret. And on the bottom string we're going to do the same thing. Start on B, go 2 frets, then 1 fret. So again, the top 2 strings are option 1, which is 2 and 2. The next 2 strings are going to be option 2, which is 1 and 2. And then the bottom 2 strings are going to be option 3. All that together sounds like this, and I'm going to play it more legato. And just practice running up and down this a little bit. Okay, so the next step with any mode is, after you get comfortable going ascending, you want to come back descending. Now all these exercises are pretty much going to be played legato. I'm doing a little picking, but not much. Okay, so we're going to first ascend, and then we're going to come back and basically play opposite coming back. So we're doing mostly hammer-ons going down. We're going to do mostly pull-offs coming back up. So it looks like this. That was mostly hammer-ons, and we're going to pull off. And most of that is a triplet feel, like triplet. So now we're going to play all the way up and all the way back down. A little quicker. Perfect. Okay, Next step, I would just simply take little small motifs or riffs based in this mode and repeat them up and down the string, across the string, should I say. As we learn different positions, you're going to be able to go from here on down. So instead of just going basically up and down right here, you'll be able to go all the way across the strings. We're not there yet, we're going to get there. Okay, so the first things first here, I'm going to just create a simple exercise, maybe a 2-string exercise based in this scale. So this is a very simple one that I like to use. It's like this, and it'll be written down in the tab. So I'm going Okay, so the idea is you want to get really comfortable doing that pattern on 2 strings by itself. So okay, once you get comfortable on 2 strings, then we can take this same idea, and instead of just playing it on the 6th and 5th string, we can just move it down each set of strings. So the first time we're going to play it on just the 6th and 5th string, like that. The second time, we may, instead of coming all the way back up to the 6th string, we may just come back here and go down on the 5th and 4th string. So here's an example. Like that. So it's kind of a little variation, an alternate to the one we just did. And again, all these will be written down. You just follow the tab. So okay, so better yet, listen. That was the first one. This is on the 5th and 4th string. And again, we would just keep moving it down the string. Now we're going to go to, well, I'll play this one a little slower. Alright, so now we're going to jump down to the 4th and 3rd string. And then we're going to, it gets a little tougher right here on the 3rd and 2nd string because we have to skip strings. So excuse me, we have to shift up frets due to the tuning of the guitar. So it looks like this. Okay, and the last one is we're going to play on the bottom 2 strings. Okay, and you'll notice that I'm using the exact same fingerings that I was using when we discussed the scale itself. So what we're going to work on now is I'm just going to give you some idea of how this would sound if you just played it back to back, you didn't stop, and you just went all the way down. The only variation that we're going to do is we're not going to come all the way back up on the exercise before we go to the next set of strings. And I'll show you what that looks like. So originally this is what we were doing, where we're going. Coming on, going from the 6th string to the 5th string, back up to the 6th string. This time what we're going to do for the variation, this is basically exercise 2. The variation is going to be start on the 6th string, go to the 5th string, but we're going to stay on the 5th string. We're going to pull back off to so it's about the first 2/3 of the last exercise, like that. Okay, and then we're going to, that's going to be the entire riff. Okay, so what we're going to do now is we're going to start the next part of the run on the D note that we just landed on, and we're going to go from the 6th and 5th string to the 5th and 4th string. So it looks like this. Change this up a little bit. So we're going to follow that idea all the way across all 6 strings, and this is going to sound slowly like this. Okay, a little bit faster. So. Okay, messed up there a little bit at the end, but you get the idea. Okay, so a good place to start with this, what I would suggest is I would definitely start by playing with a backing track, in this case in the key of G major, A major, and really just kind of running up these little riffs and exercises up and down while it's playing. That way you get an idea of how it's going to flow into music. Now, me and my unprepared self, I'm actually going to pull up a backing track. Check. Just gonna let this play a little bit. Alright, so you might want to use like normal starting notes in the key, in the scale we've been using. Maybe you even start in the A pentatonic. Turn up my amp for that. So I would do a lot of the melody and like the A major pentatonic, and then just throw in the quick little riffs with the exercises we just learned. And again, this is just an A major pentatonic. Alright, so that's just a little jamming in the A major pentatonic. Now I'm going to throw in a couple quick little riffs, like similar to the exercises we just did. And I'll actually show you how to incorporate those exercises. So this is like exercise. So that was a little bit of 1 and 2. Okay, so with that, and I apologize for any audio glitches, I'm definitely not a sound engineer, but with that, okay, so I want you to get the overall picture of how to take basic scales and create these little exercises and runs and that kind of thing, because it sounds a little kind of boring to just be like, that's fine if that's what you want to do, but one thing I would recommend to use the exercises that we already have. Then I would think in terms of how can I create little patterns inside of this exercise, inside of this scale. Alright, and we will get overall into how to really look inside the scales and find little patterns that you can do. I've given you a couple already you can start with, but feel free to create your own, and just keep practicing on it. I definitely always recommend either practicing with a backing track, with a drum machine, or something that's going to keep your timing so that you don't have to worry about the timing. The reason I like playing with a backing track is you get to hear how good the tones are, the pitches that you're putting in when you're playing the different notes, and it helps you become a better musician overall. Okay, so practice everything slow and don't get frustrated with it. Try some more picking stuff, try some legato, just different techniques that you can do to try and work through these exercises. I've given you the science behind it a little bit, and again we'll cover some more later, but music's still an art. You have to learn how to take the tools and make music out of it. Alright, keep rocking.